And now the end is near. Graham, we've got to the end. Rehearsal time.
Yes, I don't think you need any rehearsing, David.
No, I'm there. I'm there. It's opening night, mate. Always opening night for me. Listen, this is I'm once again very much looking forward to today's one, because I know we've got some great ideas, and I know you've got some recent experience of a team who are actually pitching as we record this thing.
Yeah.
But the thing I want to start off with, Graham, is I think that people get the wrong mentality around rehearsals. You know, they often start to get perfect right at the beginning of a process, rather than seeing it as the process. I mean, you know, I was an actor for many years, and the first day you turn up, you haven't got a clue what you're going to do. And I think that a pitch should almost be treated like a startup. I mean, you want to go from prototype to minimum viable product to the finished product that you put in front of the client. And I'd just like to, what are your thoughts around that?
I think those three steps would be your ideal scenario for preparing for your presentation. You know, you've got maybe a week to practice it, a week to go before the big date, and you get everybody together, get them organize, realize who's doing what, how long you've got, based on what the customer's sort of brief is. Organize that, and then you say, right, tomorrow come back and we're going to do a run through of it. Don't worry, I'm not expecting it to be polished, but come with a few bullet points on what you're going to say and just walk through what you're going to say. Maybe have a slide or two or a couple of visuals that you're thinking about showing, but not 100% polished. But let's just do the timing of it and walk it through and see how it feels. Everybody can then contribute back to it, give feedback, and then you go away, work on your sections. Come back a couple of days later. Ideally, if you've got somebody to help you with the polishing of the slides and creating the slides. So if I'm a presenter, I'm more focused on what I'm going to say. Polish that all up a bit, and then come back and do the presentation. Starting to think about the handovers and the links and stuff, if the baton is being passed around a bit. More feedback. Probably starting to think about what are the tough questions that you might get asked during that. Get everybody to start challenging each other and think about how do we handle questions practically, and then how do we answer the tough ones.
Yeah.
So you start to bring that in, and then it's a couple of days later, come in, we're going to do it as if it's the client meeting. You know, I'm going to open it up, I'm going to do it absolutely as if it's the meeting itself, and we're going to get somebody to challenge us with some questions as well, and we'll just go for it. And I think,
as you know, Graham, this is ideal land we're talking about here. I mean, you know, often if in consulting pitches, you know, which are often sort of done in the back of a taxi, I mean, you know, it often doesn't happen like that at all. So I know you've got a team that's pitching as we speak, and you had a really shortened form of that. Tell me what happened there.
So I got a call on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
We're recording this on Monday. Thursday last week, saying, right, we've got the details of the pitch. We've been asked to pitch on Monday. We've got an hour to pitch and then an hour questions afterwards. We've divided it all up amongst the three main people, and that's it. We're coming together. I need your help on the slides, Graham, and can you play the customer and sit in and listen to us rehearse? So we did that on Thursday, and then we did another one on Friday, and then another one this morning. So literally the final rehearsal this morning. So absolutely accelerated the process, but still did the three steps.
Exactly.
And actually, because of the timeline, I think you almost bypass the first bullet pointy type one and go, no, come on, tomorrow we're going to run through it. So tomorrow you're going to run through your slides and do your script as if it was the actual pitch itself. Puts the pressure on, but you have to, because you've got less time. You know, people can spend so much time fiddling around with slides that they don't think about the story they're telling.
Graham, it's like we've done this before. I'm going to pick up on what you said then about story, because that's one of the things I want to talk about rehearsals as well, is I think that in pitches there are two sorts of things you need to be talking about. There are the things that you need to know by heart, which will be your numbers, your facts, the data that you need to get over. But then there are also the things you need to speak from the heart, which are your stories. And in terms of a rehearsal process, what I would say to people is don't script your stories, know what your stories are about, and spend the time making them more and more vivid in detail, so they really live in your head and you can transfer them into the head of the people you're speaking to. If you're stumbling over something, it's because that story isn't vivid enough in your head. So that's another thing I would suggest about rehearsals, is know what you need to speak by heart and know what you need to speak from the heart, and the things from the heart make them incredibly vivid. Because there's a great thing, Dame Judi Dench, M in the Bond films, she has a great thing where she believes that it's important to do a rehearsal with a purpose. So even if you're doing Macbeth, whisper the name, do one rehearsal where you just find the jokes, because there are jokes in Macbeth, believe me. So actually rehearsing with purpose is, I think, really important. And I know that the final rehearsal you did with these guys who are pitching now, you had a real purpose to that. What did you do?
Right, so it became more about how you deliver it. So in the end, actually some of the smaller things. So everybody finished the last rehearsal. We did a few questions, pushed them a little bit. They answered the questions really well, a couple of bits of feedback. And then it was kind of, you know what, that was brilliant. So much better than Thursdays. But look, guys, you've got to smile while you're doing it. You're also kind of concentrated on what it is you're going to say and thinking about that. Just smile, relax.
But I tell you what, there are a couple of things that I would recommend as well. So yeah. I think your point there is really well made. Do a rehearsal just for the energy, about the connection, about how you feel about what it is you're talking about. I love doing a rehearsal which is just for connection with each other, because it's very easy for presentations to seem quite siloed. Do a rehearsal where you have to purposely think about how do you cross-reference somebody else.
Absolutely.
And my favorite one is do a rehearsal as if you were doing the pitch to a hyperactive, very intelligent 9-year-old. And I remember back in the early 2000s with a team in Copenhagen doing a very important pitch with them. And that was one of the final runs I did with them. And they did this thing, and rather than a 40-minute pitch, it ended up being a 15-minute pitch with really simple language. And I remember the guy in charge of it at the end of them saying, should we just go in and do it like that? Because it's much easier. It's not going to bore them. And we had so much energy. So that's another tip of how to actually do a rehearsal, is do it for that hyperactive, intelligent 9-year-old.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's all about getting ready for opening night through the rehearsal process.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Graham, I'm trying to stifle a tear here. I think we've come to the end of our series.
Well, the end of the series, but you know, there's already talk about series 2.
I think Olivia Colman's going to play your part.
She is. Yeah, she lives in Twickenham actually, so she's local.
There you
go. Keep it local.
She's in everything. But it's been an utter pleasure to do these with you, Graham. And you know, you have a very Merry Christmas, and everyone else out there have a very Merry Christmas too. And we'll see you for more in 2021, I reckon.
Yeah. Cheers all. It's been a blast. We'll catch you soon.
Take care, everyone.